these bales through the Keenan. These are the bales that were responsible. Do you remember all the absolutely wet mess of a midden that we had at Cracky? That was the result of eating these there. Now, we don't want to feed them there. We definitely don't want to feed them to sheep. The best end to them is literally down the slats. So as you know, our Keenan is a right-hand feed out, which means the PTO runs from the tractor right to the back. The workings are literally on the back. So it does go through shear bolts like nobody's business. So Roy is going to literally have to chop these with the shear grab very fine. And then they can get put through the cubicle shed. They won't get put in the calves, they'll get put through the cubicle shed. And whoever Oliver Watson is, I've got your knife. It's probably 50 years old, but it's been very handy for me, let me tell you. Oh my God, I could do one of those, you know where they sand it down and paint. Ooh, you just watch his face, you just watch his face. Creativity incoming.
Time to go. After sleeping on the floor, I go and slipping out the door.
How much do you think they weigh? Keenan, they do have knives in, our Keenan. So they are, you know, technically set up for this. Keenan recommend a minimum of 4 parts. 4 parts. The bale goes in. So we'll see how it gets. 303 before it starts. I'll turn it on.
I'll slip out the door.
Those are already chopped, just so you know.
But it didn't mean you didn't matter to me. Like taking steps is what I had to do. Just didn't want to do, 'cause love is all.
This is completely broken. It's about 20 years old, this. And for new marine board, like bottom, it's gonna, like floor of the trailer, it's gonna be 600 quid. Like at the minute, it's just not the answer for us. It's not what we want to spend either. Like I know someone who can do like a checker plate one. That would be kind of cool. But if you watched Tom Pemberton's videos, his cousin did a trailer like that, and he did it with like a mesh kind of thing, so it won't, all the water runs through it and it won't go rotten. So yeah, I think that's more of an option for what we want to do. Obviously in true farmer style, we're just going to tech screw it down. Roy's dad will just tech screw it down because we'll get another year out of it. So we're just going to go and pick the tractor up. The door has been mended. Super excited about this. It is the cleanest it will ever be or has ever been. So we come to Toppins to pick the Valtra up. The door is fixed, and in the corner there is this immaculate 5150 125 horsepower case, proper grunty. Really wish we had room for this, but we don't have the money to spend. It is going in Penrith District Farmers Mart sale on the 24th of this month if anyone's interested. It is in Toppins, the near Penrith, just off the M6 if you fancied having a nosy at it. As Ollie would say, it's one of those future classics, proper tidy.
You expect to be the one who got away, not being hurt.
Tractor graveyard.
If it was meant for you and me, then I'm sure God would make it work. It's all wrong, 'cause you were mine. So I'll be strong.
End of the tractor. Oh, it's locked. Oh, what's this? Joe? Ah, it's a sheep feed. Coming for a sit in it, but I think I'll pass. Something blue like that, it just reminds me of Joe now. Stuck in here now. I'm gonna have to climb out the back window. Snazzy passenger seat, lots of room. Some nice buttons here. Very nice. Aircon, now that is modern. One of those special radios that you flip in and out. That red button does, but it makes me want to press it. Roy's just going to the silage pit. Escapees. Oh my God. Those sheep are so naughty. So we are just going up to empty the Keenan. Yes, I still haven't swept the concrete. I will do. I'm busy today, but I might be available tomorrow. So the reason why these bales were put into bales and not put through the forager is because we couldn't get the stones pressed in, to be honest. They weren't massive, but they were just loads of little ones. And the time before, we just had them put a stone through the chopper and shut ourselves up a bit, to be fair. So we just said it's best not to. Now, if you look in here, there are no stones and there's no waste. So I'll be interested to see tomorrow, sorry I'm shouting because I don't know how much you can hear me. I'll be interested to see tomorrow how much waste and how many stones there are. It's funny, you know, we used to have a feed passage here before we put the trough in. You can see here the feed passage came to here, to there, so it was fair wide. It was very much made for older machinery, and you couldn't, if you drove in with your tractor, you couldn't open the doors. So we had it changed to a trough because we were finding it just very wasteful. And obviously you had to go down as well in the morning and kick it all up. Originally the slats were like this, they were metal, and we had these big concrete ones put in. Now that does mean you can't stir that bit of the tank, but needs must. And we got the keen, and that was the main reasons we did this. And someone had said to us, oh, don't put a trough in, you'll have to clean it out all the time. Quite honestly, we've not had to clean it out once, and I don't know why that is. I don't know whether it's because we don't put loads in. The beef cows are not dairy cows, and they are fat, my bastards, if you get what I mean. They don't need an awful lot. Maybe like a dairy cow that's putting milk out, I don't know. So today I am going to our friend Ali Wilson's, and he is changing the brackets on a bucket for me. So in the past, we have fed the cows bales outside. So the cost of plastic was getting crazy silly, and Roy's idea was that he would get a shea gram of silage and drop it into this big bucket, maybe more than one, with a weight on, obviously, because the tractor would just tip over, because it's the loader's far too big for the tractor, and it sits far too high. So what we were going to do is we were going to take silage out to, you know, kind of stop making round wrapped bales because they were just so bloody expensive and there was no need for it. So Roy went to Junction 36 auction, and she had in mind a bucket exactly the same as the one that we got, and it had some rust on the floor and it needed plating. So Junction 36 went to like an online platform after COVID, just like a lot of things did, so you can have a look online. And this bucket anyway went to like 400 quid, so Roy thought I'll just leave it alone. I went to look at this bucket that we didn't get, and he thought, oh yeah, it's all right, but at a price. Anyway, he walked past this other bucket, was underneath for $3.90, and it was like forestry spec, and Roy said it was such a shame because it was actually a really nice tractor but in really poor condition. Anyway, its loader was over the top of a bucket, so he just presumed, because he couldn't see what brackets he was on, he just presumed it was on trimmer brackets, and he presumed it was going with the tractor. Anyway, when he was online on the auction at night, he realised it had its own separate lot. And that one wasn't making any money near enough like the other one. So I think anyone that had been to look had presumed that the bucket was going with the tractor, and it wasn't. So we ended up getting it for really cheap. It had trimmer brackets, but it had Sanderson ones on, welded on the side as well. So I don't know whether people didn't realise that, you know, they were there and that's what they couldn't see past the bracket. It went for $2.20, which is like, if you like know about buying buckets, that's not a lot because it's huge. So our headstock on the loader tractor is a Euro and trimmer. It's a dual headstock, and when we got it back, it was too wide to fit because of these big bloody Sanderson brackets on it. It'd fit Big Roy's tractor on the old New Holland, but it wouldn't fit ours. So this bit here on the middle, on the inside, that's the trimmer headstock, and this bit on the outside is the Euro. Everything wants to be on Euro hooks now. We have the adapter plates like this here that go from Bobcats. Someone's here, someone's here, someone's here, someone's here. No one's here, no one's here. It's next door, spreading slurry. I told you we were nosy. I told you we were nosy. It's next door. Yeah, so everything needs to be on Euro, and we will just use adapter plates for the Bobcat. Tractor's absolutely fine, and if one day if we get a telehandler or something like that, we'll also use an adapter plate on that. I think everything just wants to be uniform, really. And on that bombshell. So girls are not offended by the chopped bill. They seem to like it. So yesterday's comments were amazing. But let's just talk about the cubicles, because that's where I'm stood. So we do really like the idea of the flexi cubicles like Tom has. Loads of you had said, oh, ask Tom Pemberton. In the big shed, when we kit it out, we will have flexi cubicles of some make, and yeah, they will be brilliant. But in order to train your cows in them, what a lot of people don't seem to realise is they need to be trained in metal cubicles, because they need to know the boundaries. If a heifer goes in a flexi cubicle, they will figure out pretty quickly that they can just spin round and come out, and then they'll end up bending, and they just won't lie correctly in the cubicle. So what happens is, with a metal cubicle, obviously smaller than these massive things, because these are for cows, the heifer will walk in the cubicle and will not be able to turn around, and will get the idea of sleeping, lying forward and pooping backwards kind of thing. And that means that when they go and transfer over onto the bigger flexi cubicles, they've already got it in their mind that that's how they lie. So if you look down here, can you see the original frame here and here? We'd like to think that we could actually work with this still, take these cubicles out. They're getting on now, to be fair. They are slightly old-fashioned. We've never had any accidents in them at all, and they've been grand for us, but they are quite old-fashioned. A lot of them have been welded in places where cows have just, banged into them and moved them. A couple are bent, that kind of thing. So yeah, hopefully we will get some new metal heifer cubicles specifically for the job, and yeah, work with this existing frame, we hope. Today's video is really long already. I might have to chop you in half and use half tomorrow. That is the cleanest this glass has ever been and will ever be. Take a good look. So a lot of you have asked what we did. I'd put some barley in the tractor to go back with, and I was in the middle of going and getting another bucket, and I left the door like that and just drove into the side of it, basically. It doesn't take a lot for a tractor door to smash, which is why it wasn't a massive deal, and Toppin's already had them in stock, so we just dropped the tractor off because it's easier for them to do it there, isn't it? But yeah, no drama. These Hestons are a very efficient way to move a large quantity of straw across a field. Anything other than that, they are an absolute pain in the ass. They're hard to spread, they're hard to handle. I can't move them. A normal little bale, this is the size of a normal bale. This wide. That's one way to do it. So instead of fighting with them, we're just feeding them. So I have come to my friend Ali Wilson's, and we are going to modify a bucket, probably over 2 days, to be fair. So this here is the bucket. So what we want to do is take these Sanderson brackets off here, all of this, and just use the trimmer back plate, and then it can fit on ours. The reason why we're taking the Sanderson brackets off is because they sit really funny. If you look, they change the angle of the bucket. Now, I personally didn't see a problem with this, but Roy said that it shouldn't be like that.
Right, that's how you do your straight edge.
Mark that and then get a straight edge down there. No.
These aren't heavy at all. Ooh, look. Shiny. Can you feel the power of the gladiators? We're just standing here chilling, watching.
About quarter of an hour. Well, that can force me.
The pleasure was all mine. Just don't go feel blue about me.
come in the separate bottles, but when they get to the end of the lance, they get mixed in. That goes to one bit of this, that goes to the other bit of that, and then you change the flow with them.
And that's what makes it hot?
Yeah.
That is warm. That is warm. We got to the tiny last bit and it's stuck. Energy, that was the thing to do.
We're not being hurt, 'cause love is all gone. You were mine, so I'll be strong and let out a
I can't even actually see where. Like the eggs for tea. Rufus is gonna be really disappointed.